Hello, my friends. I want to introduce you to the newest tooling we have to our foundry, and that is the Creality Falcon 2 Pro, which is right here. It is like the Falcon 2 on the left. It also has the 40-watt laser. It will also cut through a 2x4. It'll do all that stuff. This one will, but this one has a snorkel, so you can cut wood underwater. This one has a fume extractor that carries the smoke, the fumes, all that outside. I cut a hole in the wall and I put a weather hood on the outside of the wall so we won't have to worry about monsoon rain coming down through there. The fume extractor has a fan right here, so you don't have to put any kind of additional fan on it. It's got enough power there and enough airflow to draw fresh air in and pull it out. Honestly, I would say this is safe enough to have in my house. This one on the left, you can't do that. As you can see, I have a box fan right there. And when we would have this running, you had to have that fan on. And of course, I'm in a drafty building, right? It would smoke this up, but it would ventilate after a while. This machine, I don't have to worry about it. It does a really good job keeping the air clean in here, and you don't smell smoke when you're trying to run it. Because I've got so much crammed into this video, I did not show unboxing it. I will tell you, it took me roughly 3 hours to put it together. But that's because I spent the first hour trying to do it without reading the instructions first. This is a beefy addition to the old Falcon 2. I'm very happy with that. And it has a sliding front door. At first I was thinking, okay, there's not going to be enough room for me to put my stuff in and out. But actually, it's not a problem at all. I can put the same size pieces in here that I was putting on the Falcon 2. So the hood does not create limitations there. I'm glad to see that. Also, the interior has blades that lay down in these slots. And they're aluminum blades. There's no need to have a honeycomb in here because this takes the place of that. And these have dividers to where you can move them in closer together or farther apart if you wish. It's hard to see right here, but we have a camera mounted right there. So what that camera does is accurately position the machine to the module. I'll give you a good example. On the Falcon 2, if I wanted to run a bunch of these circles and then I later decided, hey, I want to engrave something on the back side of them, I would have to cut a hole and hold that position and drop each one down in there. With the Falcon 2 Pro, you don't have to do that because it automatically, with the overhead camera, locks in on the current position of each piece you have. The on and off switch is right here. And when I cut it on, you're going to notice that it has an interior light that will illuminate. And you hear the fan automatically kick on. You can switch these to manual in the up position. And they will stay on throughout the cycle times. If you want to run repetitive runs, it'll steadily keep air circulating, fresh air pulled in, bad air going out. Or you can switch it back down here to auto, and the light and the fan go off after a certain time limit of the cycle end. If you notice, you got two lights here that indicate it's sealed closed. Now, if you were to open this, they turn red. If you don't have this door closed, the lights are going to remain red, and if you by chance open this while the machine is running, it's going to stop just like hitting the emergency stop button, which is right here. It also has a protective key to keep the kids out of it. We don't have kids around here. The only person I have to worry around here about is Josie. She's very manic when it comes to organization. And anytime she finds a drawer, she takes advantage of it. Speaking of drawers, this particular machine has a dust drawer. When you get an accumulation of wood or drops where you're cutting small holes out, they'll fall down through those fins and land in a drawer. Opposed to when I was running this machine, I would have pieces fall and they would roll all over the place, all over the table, over the back side of the table. I was steadily sweeping that mess off the floor. You don't have to worry about that because this one, check this out. It has a really beefy... Sorry about that. Josie found out this has a drawer. You just pull it out and it rolls on these real nice neoprene wheels. Very, very smooth. And it actually comes out and you can just dump it. And yeah, you can see I've been playing around on it a little bit. These are equipped with the 40-watt laser. I cut a 2x4 with this thing just to see if it would do it. And after about 4 passes at 100%, it went right through the thing. I believe it was 4. It's been quite a while ago. I have no need to cut 2x4s. It was just a test to see what I was dealing with. If you're a metric person, they'll easily cut 22mm poplar boards. They'll cut 30mm in dark acrylic sheets. If by chance you have stainless steel that's 0.6 of an inch thick, it'll cut that. But I've had no need for that. Basically what I've been using this for is making flask and patterns with it. And I've shown you an example not too long ago of what it'll do for plaques. This is a little plaque that I made, a little plate, and that's going to be in bronze for the Tally-Ho capstan, the dud, the first one that we made and didn't turn out. Well, we're going to make a brass or a bronze plate later, and this is the pattern for it, and it turned out great. And if you're wondering how I did it, I just cut it all the way through, cut the letters out, and then I just let the letters protrude out, glued them in place, and voila, you got a nice little foundry pattern there. And you will see this in an upcoming video later, probably a couple weeks out yet. I have been able to utilize this machine for multiple tasks, and as I said, we destroyed our anvils, and those were kind of a rinky-dink temporary box that I made up. I didn't expect them to last long. When I first built the things, it was more of a test, which actually turned out to work very well. So I want to utilize the ability of the Creality Falcon 2 Pro to make my new set of flasks, and we're going to do them right. We're going all out. So this is what I came up with that we're going to be pouring from this end. It's the same concept, same process as the way we did with the other anvil flask, but these are made with precision. They fit tight, snug, and they're very well constructed. The finger joints on these beat putting screws and glue to a corner anytime. And I got a protective faceplate here that is disposable. After I use it so many times, I'll replace it with another one, which I already got in the software. All I got to do is pull it up and cut it. I'll be laying 2 fire brick right here on this surface and this surface, just to keep from having any metal lost to the sides. This is going to get charred, I know that, But the good thing is it's going to protect the flask below. This flange area, it won't get burned. That's the advantage to putting a sacrificial piece on here like that. And I cut the window opening perfectly sized to fit a 4.5 inch fire brick, which is 1.25 inches deep. If I miss the hole, it's going to automatically hit the fire brick and go straight down. These screw on to here as you're ramming the flask, and then after you're done, you just get them all stacked up, get them clamped up, and then you remove this piece. So that allows all the risers to be open. And I'm probably going to lay something on the sides here just in case we have too much metal come up through here and I can't stop it in time, just to prevent it from coming over and hitting these side flanges. And if by chance we do damage any of these flasks, it's no big deal, right? I got it in the software. All I got to do is cut another flask. That's it. Step, please. Well, I didn't damage the flask. That's good. I can always pour that well. And this piece, I'll be able to reuse it again, probably a time or two. I'm going to go ahead and take those screws out now, just to let it cool down. Did pretty good. Glad to see my flask worked the way I had intended them to. I didn't show you these being made, but each one of these is a flask. So there's your flask, the cope and the drag. Well, actually, we call it the cope and the drag this way. So you'd start off by, well, on this particular pattern, let me get the match plate and I'll show you. You ram this side up, flip it over, ram that side up. Then, before you pull it apart, notice the little boss right here. That's where our sprue goes. So, when we get ready to disassemble this, that imprint's going to be right here in the sand, and we would just take our sprue cutter and cut right there, so it's already marked, the location is. Now, Josie's ready to ram some more. I wanted to kind of refresh you on the standard features of the Creality Falcon 2. If you have the proper airflow, this light's going to be green. If it is starving for air, it's going to turn yellow and then red. This light here, that lets you know if you got a fire going on in the machine. It has a sensor inside up under the camera, and, well, I'll show it to you. So there is a sensor, and I probably should have cleaned this a little better. Can you see that? There it is right there. All right, so that is a sensor that alerts the laser that there is a fire. If in the event there is a fire, and I didn't notice this until the other day, but I did have some flash fires going on up under the laser, and it automatically deployed and sent the laser to the back right corner to get it out of the way. I like that. I never realized they do that until just recently. And of course, the third monitoring light here is for your lens. That, if in the event the lens gets dirty, all you do is take this off and you unscrew. Let me turn it this way where you can see it a little better. You just unscrew that nozzle, and then from there you have a little brass ring. I'll take this off where you can see. That nozzle directs the jet. All right, so there's your lens right there. So as long as you use the proper airflow, your lens is going to stay a lot cleaner. Because, and especially on this machine, you're not recycling smoke because all the smoke's going outside. On this machine, you're getting good fresh air supply. So I expect the lens on this will go a lot longer in periods of time before having to be cleaned. And it's no big deal. It's easy to do. You just take that little brass ring off. There's a little O-ring, and then the lens comes right out. On the Falcon 2, the other one I have, I was probably cleaning that lens once a week if I was running it a lot. I haven't replaced the lens on this one yet, so they're very low maintenance. There is a roller wheel right here, and that adjusts your airflow up or down. Crank it up, and you're blasting it. I don't like running that much air because it will generate a fire, so I bring it up to where this light just turns green. There's just a little sweet spot there, and I probably turn it 1/8 of a turn more on the airflow just to give it ample supply. This is the air pump on the left side of the machine, and the power supply dead is integrated into the machine right here. And then right below that is the air hose coming from the machine supplying the air into the laser. Now that comes plumbed already in the machine. All you have to do is connect the rubber hose to it and plug it in. The roller wheel that adjusts the airflow is right there. On the right side, you have the option to put a card in if you want to bring your program out here and run it without having to use the PC. You also, up here is the camera connection cord coming down, and also this is your main power, and then of course this is your on and off switch. The machine also comes with additional tools for maintenance when it comes to cleaning, and it even has all the proper tools supplied for assembly. So you get everything in one package, along with safety glasses if you don't trust the transparent cover. The Creality Falcon 2 Pro also comes with one more feature, which is included in the package, and it is the 1.6 watt power module. This module is designated for very fine engraving. And we'll open it up. And this is it. I decided to go ahead and put the 1.6 watt laser on there, and I made a checker pattern, super small. Each one of those squares is, I think, I'll have to measure it, but I want to pick up as much detail as I can with the engraving head to be able to demonstrate what this can do there. So once I finish with the 1.6 watt, I'm going to put the 40 watt module back on, and I'm going to run the same pattern first on 20 watts, and then I'm going to go to 40. So I just put a new piece of a scrap piece of wood in there, and I'm going to go up here and I'm going to refresh the camera. Alright, so now that's the scrap piece of wood that I have in there. And I'm gonna bring this up here. Now I'm fixing to switch. I've already changed this to 40 watt. No, I didn't. It's still on 20 watt. Sorry about that. Now it's on 40 watt. I've already run this pattern. Let me zoom in on it a little bit. Each one of those little squares are 25 thousandths. This is using the 1.6 watt. This is using the 20 watt. And you can see, the detail on the 1.6, and you come over here, and it's getting ragged, even with the finest settings on the 20 watt. So anyway, we're going with the 40 watt now, and I'm going to have to bring the settings down even more. And we're going to run one more piece for a comparison to the 1.6. And this should stop at 11 minutes. So we got one more pass to go. And I'm going to select my file, which is this bright blue pattern you see here. Alright, so if I wanted to position one more of these right here, I could do that and not have to do a dry fire on the laser and look through the... Sometimes it's really hard to see down in there, where I don't have to worry about that with this camera. You're able to do a lot more approximate positioning with the aid of this camera. I like that. But anyway, let's take this sample out and examine it. On the 1.6 watt module that I had to manually install in the machine, I did it first. I got the settings where I thought I'd like them. And let me explain. Each one of those little squares is 25 thousandths. And it shows a, let's see if I can zoom in a little better here. But it did a very crisp job. I like that. Now we move on over here to the 20 watt laser, which I had to switch out. It's also a 40 watt laser, but I had it on 20 watt setting. And this looks kind of ragged compared to that. It just looks sloppy compared to the neat handwriting here. And then you get on over to the 40 watt laser. Now keep in mind, I had the same speed and the same number of passes on each of the three. The only thing I changed was the power setting. I will say that I was running at 100% power on the 1.6 watt. Then on the 20 watt, I had to back down to 15%, along with the 40 watt. If I had tried to run these at 100%, I would have just burnt a big square hole all the way through the board. Yeah, I had to back way off on the power settings on that. Now, this has taught me something as I am doing this video on a problem I was running into with a medallion I'm making for my Patreon guys. And I'm still fighting that. If you're watching, guys, I haven't forgot about it. But I was running into issues with this thing right here. And you see that right there? See how thin and narrow the lines are? And this is embossed. You know, it comes up from the background. Alright, so I was running this with the 20 watt laser, trying to do everything I could to get all the detail to come to the front. And on the original medallions, I was losing the L's, a good portion of them. This actually turned out, but I had to do a whole bunch of stuff to it just to make it work, including make the thing huge. This was supposed to be a 1-inch keychain fob that these guys would put their keys on. But this thing is so freaking big, it's like something Mr. T would be wearing. Now that I understand what's going on here with the resolution, I should be able to go back now and try this to the original size by using that 1.6 watt laser with the original size I had this planned for. You can definitely see the difference. The reason for that, the resolution has a lot to do with, all right, so if we think of laser beams as a saw curve in woodworking terms, from what I have learned, the 1.6 watt laser beam is super fine. I don't know the approximate size. My guess is, well, I'm not even going there. I do know that the curve, or the width of the laser beam for a 20 watt is somewhere around 7 thousandths, and I think I come up with 15 thousandths for the 40 watt module. So when you think about that, you've got when we're trying to make a little cube that's only 25 thousandths with a much bigger beam, you're wasting away a lot of the background trying to achieve those results. Where with a super fine beam, you get good crisp detail, as I just shown you there. I've learned a lot at doing this video, and I'm glad I went ahead and did this demonstration just to help me better understand how that works as well. I did not think I was going to be using a 1.6 watt until now. I learned. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. It's been very educational for me, and I hope I was able to pass on some of this information to you. If you're interested in any of Creality's products, be sure to check out the link below along with this machine here. I'm very thankful to have this, especially with the smoke going straight out of the building now. Josie got to where she would not work out here when I was running the laser just because of that, so problem solved. Well, we'll talk to you later, guys.